So most of you will have heard of the Derrick Robie case and the shocking revelation about who his killer was. Derrick Robie was born on October 2nd, 1988 in Savona, New York to Doreen and Dale Robie. Derrick was the oldest of the children and was known as such a lovable wee boy. He enjoyed playing sports. And roll on to August 2nd, 1993, and Derrick was due to go to summer camp not far from where he lived. His mum, Doreen, was supposed to take him that day, but one of his siblings wasn't well, so his mother was forced to stay home and look after them. Derrick said to his mum, "It's okay, it's not that far, I can walk by myself." Doreen reluctantly agreed to this and said to Derrick, "I love you," to which Derrick replied, "I love you too," and off he went. And those were the last words that Doreen would hear from her son. Doreen arrived at camp just after 11 a.m. to collect Derrick, only to find that he had not arrived, and no one had seen him at all that day. Flying into panic mode, Doreen contacted the police and informed them that her son was missing. Searchers were sent out to the surrounding area to search the little boy, and after 4 hours of searching, the police found the body of Derrick Robie in a field not far from the summer camp. Derrick Robie had been strangled, beaten to death, and sexually assaulted. The hunt was now on to find his killer and bring them to justice for the murder. 2 days after the murder, a 13-year-old boy approached police asking if he could help them. When questioned about seeing Derrick, he told them no first, but later changed his story to "Yes, I seen him, right across the street from the field." He was able to describe the clothes that Derrick was wearing. This boy was 13-year-old Eric Smith and became a suspect in the law enforcement. When they questioned him further, he got angry and asked them, "You think I killed him, don't you?" The investigators got Eric to show where he had last seen Derrick. They knew he was hiding something, and even Eric's own family knew there was something there, but they weren't quite sure, and they just weren't expecting what exactly it was. Derrick Robie was buried 5 days after his murder in his baseball uniform. A large crowd had attended the funeral. 2 days after the funeral, Eric Smith confessed to his mother that he had murdered Derrick, and he was arrested on August 8th, 1993. During the trial, it was learned that Eric had been thrown out of the summer camp due to his bad behaviour. Riding his bike home, he spotted 4-year-old Derrick Robie making his way to the summer camp. He lured the 4-year-old to a remote part of the park in a wooded area. He began strangling Derrick, and once he was unconscious, he threw a couple of rocks on his head. After this, Eric stripped Derrick down naked and sodomized him with a tree branch just to make sure he was dead. Eric had told police that he killed Derrick out of rage. He said he was being bullied by other children in school and also by family members. It was determined that Derrick had died due to blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. I think, like most people hearing this and knowing about the story, can't imagine how scared Derrick must have been and frightened whenever Eric was committing these crimes against him. So on August 16th, 1994, Eric was sentenced to 9 years to life in prison. That's the maximum sentence you can actually give a juvenile. He became eligible for parole in 2002, but had them all turned down. When he turned 21 years old, he was transferred to the Clinton Correctional Facility. It was there he released this statement: "I know my actions have caused terrible loss in the Robie family, and for that I am truly sorry. I've tried to think as much as possible what Derrick will never experience: his 16th birthday and Christmas, owning his own house, graduating, going to college, getting married, his first child. If I can go back in time, I would switch places with Derrick and endure all the pain I've caused him. If it meant that he can go on living, I'd switch places, but I can't. So after quite a few years of verbal abuse and having been told that I am nothing, I shut down my feelings, so I wouldn't feel the emotional pain which made me vulnerable and weak. But the damage was done. I began to believe that I was nothing and nobody, and my outlook on life was dark. I felt when I went to school I was going through hell because that's what it was for me. However minor or major each abuse situation, it all adds up. until it gets to a point where the individual cannot take anymore. After a while, they may cope in a horrific way or take their emotional anger or rage out on someone who had done nothing to bring on such violence, like Derrick. Not because they're evil or satanic little kids, it's because they want the abuse to stop, and it's the only way they know how to. Although each case is different, there is always the underlying fact that the kids who did these unthinkable crimes endure years of abuse, whether at school, at home, or both. I had issues at home, but I'm not going to talk about that. You may think I'm a threat to the well-being of society, and I can understand why you would feel like that. The fact is that I am not. I'd be an asset to society. After serving 27 years of his sentence, Eric Smith was granted parole in October 2021.